Today, we're exposing the 10 most horrible countries to live in. This video is bound to offend some people, but we make no apologies for exposing the dark reality of these countries. They will make you want to live in a cardboard box. That's right, my friends. These places are so bad, even babies would refuse to be born there. We're talking warzones where violence is the national pastime, economies that make a lemonade stand look prosperous, and governments more corrupt than a moldy banana. Imagine living in a country where crime rates are through the roof, corruption is the norm, and basic necessities are luxuries. That's the reality in these countries. First up, we have nations where the government is more of a problem than a solution, perpetuating poverty and suffering. Healthcare is almost non-existent, education is a joke, and the economy is in shambles. People struggle daily to survive, and hope is a rare commodity. Next, some of these countries are war zones, with violence and conflict making everyday life a dangerous gamble. Human rights are violated with impunity, and freedom is just a distant dream. Then there are countries where natural disasters wreak havoc, and the response from authorities is pitifully inadequate. Infrastructure is crumbling, and clean water and electricity are scarce. Let's dive into the grim realities of these dreadful destinations. They are literally hell on earth. Number 10. Haiti. Haiti, located on the island of Hispaniola in the Caribbean, shares its borders with the Dominican Republic. With a population of approximately 11.4 million, Haiti faces numerous challenges that make it a difficult place to live. Political instability, marked by frequent changes in government and widespread corruption, undermines effective governance. The economy is extremely weak, characterized by high unemployment rates, widespread poverty, and a lack of infrastructure. Many Haitians lack access to basic services such as clean water, healthcare, and education, exacerbating the country's struggles. Natural disasters, including earthquakes and hurricanes, frequently devastate Haiti, causing massive destruction and loss of life. The nation's infrastructure is ill-equipped to handle such events, leading to prolonged recovery periods and further economic strain. Additionally, gang violence and crime are rampant, with inadequate law enforcement and judicial systems failing to maintain order and security. Public health is another critical issue, with cholera outbreaks and other diseases posing constant threats due to poor sanitation and inadequate medical facilities. Predominantly Roman Catholic, Haiti has a life expectancy of 61 years for men and 66 years for women. These compounded problems create a challenging environment that significantly impacts the quality of life for the Haitian population. Number 9. Afghanistan. Living in Afghanistan is extremely challenging due to a multitude of severe issues. Located in South Asia, Afghanistan shares borders with Pakistan, Iran, Turkmenistan, Uzbekistan, Tajikistan, and China, and has a population of around 39 million. Predominantly Muslim, the country has a life expectancy of 62 years for men and 65 years for women. Political instability is a significant concern, with frequent power struggles and a history of conflict that has left the country in constant turmoil. The return of the Taliban to power has further exacerbated fears of human rights abuses and restricted freedoms, particularly for women and girls. The economy is in dire straits, with high unemployment rates and widespread poverty affecting a large portion of the population. Basic services such as healthcare, education, and clean water are often inaccessible, particularly in rural areas. Infrastructure is poorly developed, and many areas lack electricity and proper sanitation. Security is a major issue, with ongoing violence from insurgent groups, terrorism, and military operations making everyday life dangerous. Human rights abuses are rampant, with reports of extrajudicial killings, torture, and severe restrictions on freedom of speech and assembly. Women and minorities face significant discrimination and violence, further contributing to the harsh living conditions in Afghanistan. Before we move to number 8, if you are enjoying the video, please support us by subscribing to our channel, click the like button, and share the video. it means a lot to us. Thank you. Number 8. Syria. Living in Syria is extremely challenging due to numerous devastating factors. Located in Western Asia, Syria shares borders with Turkey, Iraq, Jordan, Israel, and Lebanon, and has a population of approximately 18 million people. The predominant religion is Islam. The life expectancy is around 60 years for men and 65 years for women. The ongoing civil war, which began in 2011, has caused widespread destruction, making it one of the most dangerous places to live. The conflict has resulted in over 500,000 deaths and displaced millions, both internally and as refugees. The economy is in shambles, with rampant unemployment and inflation making daily survival a struggle for most citizens. Basic necessities such as food, clean water, and health care are often scarce or unavailable. Extensive damage to infrastructure, including schools, hospitals, and homes, further diminishes the quality of life. Security concerns are high due to the presence of various armed groups and ongoing military operations. Frequent bombings, shellings, and armed clashes make everyday activities perilous. Human rights violations, including severe torture, arbitrary detention, and restrictions on freedom of expression and assembly, are widespread. Limited access to international aid due to ongoing fighting and political obstacles exacerbates the humanitarian crisis, creating an environment of extreme hardship. Number 7. Yemen. Yemen is a challenging place to live due to ongoing conflict, severe humanitarian crisis, and economic collapse. Located in the Arabian Peninsula, Yemen is bordered by Saudi Arabia and Oman, with a population of approximately 30 million people. The predominant religion is Islam. The life expectancy is around 63 years for men and 67 years for women. Since the civil war escalated in 2015, Yemen has endured relentless violence involving various factions, including Houthi rebels and a Saudi-led coalition, leading to significant civilian casualties and displacement. The country faces the world's worst humanitarian crisis, with over 80% of the population in need of aid. Food insecurity is rampant, with millions on the brink of famine, exacerbated by blockades and destroyed infrastructure. Healthcare is dire, with bombed hospitals and a severe shortage of medical supplies, leading to outbreaks of cholera and other diseases. Economic conditions are disastrous, with rampant inflation, high unemployment, and a collapsed banking system. Basic services like clean water, sanitation, and electricity are scarce. Political instability and corruption further complicate relief efforts, making daily life extraordinarily harsh and dangerous. Number 6. South Sudan. Living in South Sudan is extremely challenging due to ongoing conflict, severe poverty, and lack of basic services. Located in East Central Africa, South Sudan is bordered by Sudan, Ethiopia, Kenya, Uganda, the Democratic Republic of Congo, and the Central African Republic. The country has a population of around 11 million people, predominantly practicing Christianity and indigenous religions. The life expectancy is approximately 58 years for men and 61 years for women. Since gaining independence in 2011, South Sudan has been plagued by a brutal civil war that has killed hundreds of thousands and displaced millions. This conflict has devastated the economy, leading to widespread food scarcity and malnutrition. Healthcare infrastructure is almost non-existent, with rampant diseases like malaria and cholera, and minimal access to medical care. Education is severely disrupted, with many schools destroyed and high rates of child soldier recruitment. Poor infrastructure, including limited roads, electricity, and clean water, exacerbates living conditions. Security remains a critical issue with widespread violence and human rights abuses. Political instability and corruption further hinder peace and development efforts, making South Sudan one of the most difficult and dangerous places to live in the world. Number 5. Venezuela. Living in Venezuela is extremely challenging due to economic collapse, political instability, and widespread social issues. Located in northern South America, Venezuela is bordered by Colombia, Brazil, and Guyana. It has a population of approximately 28 million people, predominantly Roman Catholic. The life expectancy is around 72 years for men and 78 years for women. Hyperinflation has rendered the currency almost worthless, causing basic goods prices to skyrocket. This economic turmoil leads to severe shortages of food, medicine, and essential supplies, forcing reliance on the black market or humanitarian aid. The healthcare system is in crisis, with hospitals lacking basic supplies and equipment. Malnutrition is widespread, particularly affecting children and the elderly. Access to adequate healthcare and nutrition is a significant barrier for many Venezuelans. Political instability under Nicolás Maduro's government exacerbates these problems with accusations of authoritarianism, suppressing dissent, manipulating elections, and violating human rights. High crime rates, including kidnappings, robberies, and murders, contribute to the fear of violence, with ineffective or corrupt law enforcement further deteriorating trust in public institutions. Number 4. Somalia. Living in Somalia is fraught with extreme challenges due to prolonged conflict, political instability, and severe socio-economic issues. Located in the Horn of Africa, Somalia is bordered by Ethiopia, Djibouti, Kenya, and the Indian Ocean. It has a population of approximately 16 million, predominantly practicing Islam. Life expectancy is around 55 years for men and 58 years for women. Decades of civil war have led to widespread violence and insecurity. Armed groups like Al-Shabaab control significant parts of the country, enforcing strict and brutal rules and frequently attacking civilians. The political landscape is highly unstable, with a weak central government struggling to maintain authority and provide basic services. Corruption is rampant, further eroding trust in governmental institutions and hindering development efforts. Economic conditions are dire, with widespread poverty and unemployment. Many Somalis rely on subsistence farming or livestock herding, but recurrent droughts and famines exacerbate food insecurity. Access to clean water, healthcare, and education is severely limited, particularly in rural areas. Humanitarian crises are significant, with large numbers of internally displaced persons living in overcrowded and unsanitary conditions, vulnerable to disease and malnutrition. Number 3. Democratic Republic of Congo, DRC. The Democratic Republic of Congo, DRC, located in Central Africa and bordered by 9 countries, including Angola, Rwanda, and Uganda, faces extreme difficulties due to ongoing conflict, political instability, and severe socio-economic challenges. With a population of about 89 million, predominantly Christian, the DRC has a life expectancy of around 60 years for men and 63 years for women. Decades of violence involving numerous armed groups have led to widespread insecurity and the displacement of millions. Political instability is rampant, with a weak central government struggling to provide basic services. Corruption further undermines governance and development efforts, contributing to lawlessness and making daily life unpredictable and dangerous. Despite its vast natural resources, the DRC suffers from widespread poverty and unemployment. Many rely on subsistence farming, frequently disrupted by conflict. Poor infrastructure severely limits access to clean water, healthcare, and education. Humanitarian crises are severe, with many internally displaced persons living in overcrowded, unsanitary conditions, vulnerable to disease and malnutrition. This combination of persistent conflict, economic hardship, and lack of essential services makes the DRC one of the most challenging places to live. Number 2. Myanmar. Living in Myanmar, located in Southeast Asia and bordered by Thailand, China, India, Bangladesh, and Laos, is fraught with challenges due to ongoing ethnic conflicts, political instability, and severe human rights abuses. With a population of around 54 million, predominantly Buddhist, the country has a life expectancy of approximately 66 years for men and 71 years for women. Decades of internal strife, military operations, and armed conflicts have severely affected various ethnic regions, leading to widespread displacement and insecurity. The political situation worsened following the military coup in February 2021, resulting in mass protests, violent crackdowns, and a drastic deterioration in governance and rule of law. Civil liberties have been severely restricted, with numerous reports of arrests, torture, and extrajudicial killings. Economic conditions are dire, exacerbated by political turmoil and the COVID-19 pandemic, leading to increased poverty, food insecurity, and malnutrition. Human rights abuses, especially against ethnic minorities like the Rohingya, are rampant. The humanitarian crisis is severe, with millions lacking adequate shelter, healthcare, and clean water. These factors collectively make Myanmar a very difficult and dangerous place to live. Number 1. North Korea. North Korea, located in East Asia and bordered by China, South Korea, and Russia, is an extremely difficult country to live in due to its oppressive regime. Led by Kim Jong-un, the government exerts total control over all aspects of life. The population, estimated at 25 million, predominantly practices atheism and Korean shamanism, with a life expectancy of approximately 67 years for men and 74 years for women. Severe restrictions on freedom of speech, movement, and information are enforced, with all media tightly controlled and monitored. Citizens face constant surveillance, and any dissent is met with harsh punishments, including imprisonment in brutal labor camps, where torture and starvation are common. The economy is crippled by mismanagement and international sanctions, leading to widespread poverty and food shortages. Many North Koreans suffer from malnutrition and lack access to basic health care. The regime prioritizes military spending over the welfare of its people, maintaining a large standing army while the population struggles with basic needs. Human rights abuses are rampant, and the regime employs fear and propaganda to maintain control, making North Korea one of the most challenging and oppressive places to live. That brings us to the end of the video. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, subscribe, and ring that notification bell so you never miss an adventure. And hey, leave a comment below about your views on these countries. Let us know the ones that you have visited. Until next time, stay curious, stay adventurous, and keep exploring.